Hi, I'm Nicole, and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to basically give a little update on what all has been going on in recent weeks. I have been extremely busy. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on recently. I just got back from vacation too. I went on a little vacation for a few days, and just got back from that. Basically, I've already kind of done, a community post explaining, about all this, but I'm still going to bring it up and mention it in the video. There's a new project possibly coming up that's, that I'm thinking about doing. And I don't want to, talk too much about it right now, but if I do decide to continue or at least start on it and it does come together, then I will definitely give updates on that and let all of you know, who have been watching my videos, I'll let you know what will be going on with that. But it's something that I'm excited about. I had been mulling over doing this for a while, and I think it's time to start on this. So, like I said, if I do actually start on it, then I'll let you know about it. But yeah, like I said, this is just going to be a little update video. I've been having some interesting dreams, for the past several days that involve Michael, and there's been some very interesting like imagery or messages that come out of it. Basically, about the best I can make out of it is that he is happy that I am standing up for myself and starting this channel back up and putting, my story out there, what all I've been going through. Now, obviously, if you've seen my other videos, it probably would be self-explanatory as to what I'm referring to, but some of this video is going to delve into a topic that I've had to bring up in past videos, because there's been some new things that have come out that basically I'm here to expose it. If that's about the best way to put it. But yeah, some of these dreams I've had that seem to kind of allude to that Michael is glad that I'm, doing this, I'm standing up. Because the thing is, there's been some interesting things that have come out in regards to the crazy stalker that was bothering me. And none of this is new. It's like this is the same old tricks that this crazy bitch was doing, beforehand. If you remember back then, I discussed how I have tried to have this channel stay up. I would start it up and then I would take it down, then I would start it back and then I would take it down, and it happened numerous times. Well, it was because of her and her mess. Because anytime that she found out that I had started the channel back up, she would start doing things. And then I would just get tired and I say, to myself, I'm not going to deal with this. I don't want to deal with it. I'm just not going to bother talking about any of this. And so I would take my channel down. And let that be it. And I started figuring out at some point that that's exactly what this was. That this was one of her little tricks. Basically, what I discovered is that whenever I start the channel up and she finds out about it, and then she starts viewing my videos, and she knows that I'm making videos about her and exposing her and what she did to me and to others and whatnot, all the things that are being said about her, which is basically public for anybody to see or hear, watch, read, whatever you want to call it. She wouldn't like that, obviously. And she would start her mess, and I figured it out that that's exactly what the whole point of it was. She was basically trying to, stir up any kind of mess to get me to take my channel down. Because obviously, what did I just say was on my channel? I'm exposing her. You know, and for all the lies that she has said about Michael, you know, and about the so-called connection they have, which is a bunch of BS. And then also, you know, it's me exposing her for all the stuff she did to me. So I started to understand that's what the whole point of it was. She was merely trying to start mess because she knew that I would get exasperated at it all, and then I would take my channel down. She wanted me to shut up and disappear, basically. And basically what is going on, she's doing the same old trick again. As of recent, ever since I've started this channel up again, in recent weeks, she's been making crazy posts on her channel, and I've figured it out as usual. It's the same crap as was before. And I think that I'm getting under her skin now. I think she's getting scared because I'm not going anywhere. Because, you know, if you remember when I stated that, you know, I'm going to try to keep this channel up as best I can. And, like I said, I've already got another project that's possibly going to be going on, you know, in the future. Like I said, I'm kind of here to stay as long as YouTube will have me, you know, with this channel, you know. And I think that's what the whole point of this is. She's starting her mess again. She's trying to, you know, I guess she thinks she's getting at me when it's really the other way around, because I think I'm really bothering her. Because, think about it, I'm exposing her for everything what she's been doing, all her lies. And, like I said, she's continuing to do this stuff, and I guess she thinks I'm going to just take my channel down again and go running off, and no, it's not going to happen this time. And she just, like I said, she's been making some crazy posts on her channel, you know, in the past, you know, week or so. And one of them, she just exposed herself, and basically it was the post was full of contradictions. And that is something that she was known to do. She loves to change her story to fit whatever narrative she's trying to push at the moment. And I don't know if she just doesn't remember what she said in past times, but she'll say one thing, and then later on, it'll be something else, and then that's when you start to realize, yeah, this is somebody that's a liar. They're just making up bullshit as they go along, and they can't keep their story straight. If you remember the bully video that I made where I'm going over all that was one of the big things I talked about. And like I said, this one post that she made recently was just full of contradictions. You know, basically, like I said, it would be one thing, and then she said something else back then. And I'm here to expose it today. Because, again, she is doing that mess like she did before. Where it's like, I start my channel up, she finds out about it, and then she starts trying to continue to peddle to anybody who's listening that, you know, she has this connection and, you know, and all this other stuff. She keeps trying to, you know, make it out that I'm lying about mine and all this other stuff. And, you know, it's just, it's the same old stuff. I mean, I can't stress it. And like I said, this one post really, you know, again, it just exposes her lies. And that whole thing that I just brought up earlier of how she loves to change her story from time to time. You know, she can't keep up with whatever she posted back then. So apparently she made a post that she claimed, you know, came from Michael. You got to remember, she loves to claim that she is a medium, or that she has those types of abilities and that she can channel Michael and all this other stuff. But, you know, as I've said in past video, that there's been things she posted that kind of exposed that was a lie too. One of the big things being that she claims that she went to several different mediums at such and such times to try to find out about her connection. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you claim that you can communicate with Michael with no problem. like a medium or psychic would. So why are you going to all these psychics and mediums or whatnot trying to find out about your connection if you already figured out, by using your so-called abilities? See, it doesn't make any sense. And you got to remember, that's a bit of her copying. Because what did I say that I had to do in order to figure out, what was this I was going through? I had to seek out some mediums. Because, I don't have that ability. I've stressed that in past videos. I wish I did have that ability, but I don't, unfortunately. It is what it is. So, like I said, that's what all that's about. And of course, that's just one of the many contradictions that she has, done, in the past. But anyways, this is supposedly a post, that she made on her channel where she's trying to claim that Michael, that he channeled this or she channeled it from him or whatever. She's basically, the whole gist of the post, basically, or the channeled message was that basically that, he has this connection with her and nobody else and so forth and blah, 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 blah. And this is some of the things that she said. She puts in there that Michael had stated that he was flattered by people who believe they share a soul connection with him, but he doesn't identify with this. It's not reality or truth, something along that line. He stated that twin flames is an illusion driven by a person's own wishes, something he doesn't relate to. And you can see where this is going because, when she merely brings up the whole twin flame, the term, we know who that's aimed at. She thinks she's being cute and clever, but we know who it's aimed at. It's aimed at me, obviously, or anyone else who tried to claim they were Michael's twin flame. And you see where this is going. She then says that Michael stated that the only bond he acknowledges is the one he has with, and it's funny, for some reason, she had, I've already brought this up before and I have no problem bringing it up again, but, she goes by the post name of Lulu, and she went by the name of Lords in the beginning when she first started, harassing me. And for some reason, it had the letter L, but then everything else was blocked out. And that's just weird. But either way, that's basically what she was saying. It says here, Michael states that the only bond he acknowledges is the one he has with, it had the letter L. And of course, that's going to be Lulu or Lords or whoever the hell that this person is on this account. Okay? Because you remember how I brought up how you don't really know, who really is on this account. I've been kind of wondering about that because you never know. She also tried to claim that Michael stated that the malice directed at her is neither justified or tolerated. Let's see, and see, it just, you see where the whole thing, how it ends up. You can kind of get the gist of the whole thing, of what this post was about. So basically what the whole entire thing was that she's trying to claim that Michael channeled that to her, trying to claim that, obviously, that twin flames don't exist, that there's obviously other people that think that they have a connection to him, and apparently they don't. That the only bond he acknowledges is with her and her only. And you can see where I'm going with this. And see, this whole thing is just full of contradictions and exposes her to be the liar that she is. And I'm here to expose it today. So, first of all, when she is going on about, you know, how Michael was flattered about other people claiming that, you know, that they think they have a connection and they apparently don't. Okay, that right there, I can definitely explain that to you right away. So she is basically, in this post, she is trying to claim that nobody, you know, apparently, you know, these people are, you know, they think they got a connection to them and they don't. That's the first contradiction right there. She tried to come at me over this, it could have been a year or so ago now, or even longer, because you got to remember, this bitch started her crap with me back in 2022, and it continues to this day, okay? Like I said, this idiot will not leave well enough alone, and she won't give up either, okay? But no, she tried to come at me over this, okay? And I'm going to explain. See, remember how I told you how I've been to one medium that confirmed the connection, and then there were 2 others that found my channel at the various times when I had it up, and they claimed that they had been having these, like, visitation or challenge or whatever you want to call it, you know, with Michael in spirit. And they wanted to converse with me and let me know that, yeah, you know, y'all have got a connection. You know, don't deny it, that kind of thing, you know. So I've had 3 mediums. One of the things that had been brought up, and I brought this up in past videos at various points, you know, when I had this channel up and in the other times I had it up, you know. I had just merely brought it up in one video about how I was told from at least 1 or 2 of these mediums that, but, you know, and this is something that I kind of mulled about bringing up. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go in here and bring it up now because it pertains to this. I have noticed ever since I started going, you know, over learning about Michael and trying to understand and figure out what this connection was, I was noticing over time that there were others that were constantly bringing it up, like in comment sections and whatnot, that they had dreams of Michael, you know, and they believed that he had, you know, they believed that they had a, you know, connection to him in some way, like a spiritual connection, or they believed that there was a dream visitation and whatnot and all this other stuff. And then you got the others that flat out say, oh, I've got, you know, the abilities, you know, the psychic or medium, you know, have, and I can connect with him and we converse from time to time, blah, blah, blah. See, I was becoming aware of this. What I was told is, and this is the reason why it got brought up, because it seemed to be a lot of people that was coming out saying, others made comments about it too. They're like, what's going on? Why are all these people, you know, trying to claim, you know? Well, what I was told, you know, with the mediums that I had conversed with, they said that Michael has visited people. There are some people that he does have a connection to in a soul sense, that, or he is visiting them in some, you know, way or capacity, and there's a reason for it. And that's their business. That's between him and them, you know. But there are others that are going around claiming stuff, you know, like this stalker, you know, Lulu, she would be one that's in this camp, that they don't have a connection. They're just spewing bullshit about him, you know, and it just is what it is. They're crazy. These are people that are crazy and are obsessed over Michael and whatnot, and there you go. Well, anyways, I brought this up in a video. Now, did I say that Michael was not having any communication with anybody? You know, or that he was only having the communication and it was only with me? No, I didn't say any such of a thing. I just simply said that what I was told is that there are some people that have truly been visited, you know, whether it's a dream or whatever, or they are having, you know, these psychic, you know, sessions with them, you know, whatever you want to call it. But there are others out there that believe that they've got a connection, and they don't. They believe they've been visited, you know, in a dream, you know, by his spirit, and they haven't. It was just a dream, that was it. You know, and that was it. Well, Lulu bitch, obviously, because you remember I told you, you know, one of these past videos that she watches my videos, and I know it. You know, there's a way when you make content on YouTube, you can tell. You know, and it's, you don't really know exactly, but there's a way to know, you know, it's just something that the content, you know, creators, they know. It's a way to let people know, how, you know, on what kind of viewers you're getting, if that makes any sense. And let's just say that I know for a fact she has been watching these videos. I mean, because she exposes it in her post. But the thing is that even back then, that's what she did when I ran a channel. You know, even in the past times. So what it is, she obviously came across that crap, you know, back then, that, you know, when I was, you know, having to bring that up, and she ran away with it, and she's trying to accuse me of acting like I'm the only one that has a connection to him, that's what I said, and I'm the only one that believes and see, I never said any such a thing. Okay? So you see how she's a shit starter? She's trying to do that thing. She's trying to, you know, put words into my mouth and then trying to turn it into this whole, which it wasn't. You know, because like I said, she's a shit starter. You know? So basically that was what I said, and yet she tried to turn it into the other. Well, what she also did at the same time is she was trying to make it out that, you know, that I know that Michael, you know, has connections with other people and whatnot, you know. So you see how she's doing that crap. She's trying to claim, you know, and we know what the trick of this is. She's trying to find any way to badmouth, bash. As usual, the whole thing is anything that I say or post, I'm a liar, don't believe her, you know, she's making everything up, and you see where I'm getting at. If any of y'all are confused about this, you just have to go back to the earlier videos that I've got about the bully and listen to them, and then you'll understand what this is all about. Okay? So anyways, that's what she was doing. But do you see now how she just contradicted herself in this post? See, back then, she's trying to claim that she knows that Michael does have connections with other people. Now she's trying to claim that Michael only acknowledges his bond, that she puts it, that he has with her and nobody else. So you see where I'm getting at? It's like, in other words, she tried to claim the other could have been a year or so ago. Now she's trying to claim now that she's the only one that's got a bond or connection, whatever you want to call it, with Michael. And it's like, excuse me, you know, Michael has family from that, you know, that lifetime. They're still living. And see, I ain't got to go in. This should be common sense at this point. You know? It's like, this is ridiculous. This is that kind of thing where it's almost like as if it's to hell with, you know, his daughter and, his new grandchild, his siblings. Like I said, this should be common sense at this point. So, and I don't even really have to go into it, but yeah, this is going to be another one of those, and this is why I'm making this video to expose it, because she is basically now trying to go around claiming that Michael only acknowledges his bond with her, and that's it. To hell with anybody else, especially the people that he actually knew in that lifetime. And yet back then she tried to claim otherwise, where she was acting, you know, like, oh, well, I know that he has connections with others, and she was acting like she didn't have a problem with it, and, you know. So, you know, that's a contradiction right there. And then, of course, you know, this goes back into what I was trying to say about the whole thing about the others when I brought that up, you know, in the past video back then about how there are some people that have a connection and then there's some that don't. Again, that kind of ties in with that because, again, she was trying to acknowledge that other people, you know, did have connections, you know, from what she knew. And now she's trying to claim that, you know, that nobody has. These people are all lying and making stuff up, apparently. And again, it all leads to that very thing that, you know, that, oh, his connection is with me and nobody else. You see where I'm getting at? And see, again, she's contradicting herself because back then she acknowledged it and now she don't want to acknowledge it. Again, this is that very thing. What I was saying is that she will change her story to fit whatever narrative that she's going with at the moment. And again, that is a definite sign of somebody that is full of shit. And you don't need to be listening to them. And I quite frankly, I'd really like to know who is listening to her bullshit because she doesn't make any videos. And these are just community posts that she makes. And it's very funny, you know, because I'd really like to know who the hell's listening to her. If anybody buys her mess, I would have to say that they might need to be checked out too. In terms of questioning whether or not if their mental health is okay, because we already know this person's definitely not okay mentally. And I'm sorry, but if you believe her crazy crap, you got something wrong with you in the head. I mean that's all I'm going to say. I mean, but that's the second contradiction right there is the fact that, you know, she tries to, you know, now say that nobody's having any kind of, you know, spiritual connection to him. It's only her, and just like, here we go, you know. She also, she loves to bring up the thing about the whole twin flame, you know, trying to claim that it's an illusion and all this other stuff. And again, she just, you know, that's another, contradiction right there. Because, yeah, from the very beginning, when she was starting to harass me, she would love throwing that, you know, in her post. She would love to throw it in my face that I happen to know for a fact that you're lying because twin flames don't exist. You know, she would do that crap, right? So she was doing that back then. And she's basically saying the same thing now. But what is so funny, I would catch her in post, you know, where she would then contradict that and she would go around trying to claim that Paula, and she would use the term twin flame, she would go around trying to claim that Paula Yates was his twin flame, or she would bring up one of the other, you know, ex-girlfriends of Michael's from that life, and she's using that term, and it's like, here we go. I thought you said twin flames didn't exist. So what are you going on about that? And so you see what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, she loves changing her story to fit whatever narrative she's trying to push at the moment. So again, she just, you know, and I'm just exposing it. I really, really loved how he supposedly told her, you know, or at least in the message, the channeled message was that the malice that she, you know, has been getting, it's neither justified or whatever and all this other. Yeah, it kind of is. I'm going to say right now, I had already brought this up in the past bully video that I made. Remember what I told you, what she's been trying to spin all this time. Everything that she did to me, she's now trying to turn it around, and she's trying to make it out that I did this stuff to her. And no, you know, again, she's all innocent. You'll notice in her post, you notice how she's trying to act like she's all innocent. And what have I been saying all this time? That's what she's doing. She's trying to make herself look innocent as usual. And now she's trying to make it out like Michael's trying to come to her defense and all this other stuff. Well, here we go. that right there is a little bit of copying right there. Because, something that she did, that I have explained, is that she was trying to turn it around that I was doing all these things to her. I had found this out, after she was already trying to post this stuff online. And I also found out she was copying from my videos, taking the things that I had experienced, and she was trying to pass it off as her own. So that's level crazy. That's the level of what this person does. Well, the copying thing, that's a little bit of copying right there, because what has happened is that the two mediums that I have been conversing with here and there by email over the past year or so now, they've been exposing to me. They both, one of them might have had a little bit of a difference in some of the, things they got and, than from the other, but they kind of were, a lot of the message seemed to be the same. And that's how I, believe it definitely that Michael is coming to them and channeling and, whatever it is these mediums do, Because the first medium also brought up some stuff as well, the one where I actually went to an actual reading and sat down and, But the thing is that all three of these mediums, and especially the two, from recent, they have definitely been bringing it up. They were the ones that were able to help me, when Michael was saying that there is no connection to this Lulu. He does not know this person at all, but he knows what she's been doing to me. He's aware of it. The spirit is going to be aware of things, and he has been aware of what she's been doing to me. And he's been trying to tell me just to kind of ignore it, don't pay attention to it, focus on our connection, that kind of thing. Well, some of the stuff, and like I said, I was going to bring this up in the, later video, because I brought it up in my community post about how I want to do a video talking about this, about what basically kind of giving an amalgamation of everything that, has been said from these videos so far. I say videos because, I've talked about this in past videos, but I'm kind of wanting to do one where it's amalgamation. So that way it comes out, it makes more sense. But basically what it is that everything that I have gotten from the three mediums that I've conversed with, he is aware of what she has been doing to me. And obviously he does not like it. There's been this talk of how there's a group involved. It's not just her. There were others that were helping her. There's been some things to come out, and I've exposed, like I said, when I say I wanted to give an amalgamation of everything I've said in videos or posts, it's because I'm wanting to, go into it more about what's been said, in these sessions. And see, the thing is, it got exposed. I exposed what this Lulu is really about. And the thing is that this is part of what I meant earlier when I said that she does not like that I've got this channel up. And that I've exposed her just like I'm doing it right now. I'm exposing her for all the things she's done. That's what I'm doing, and she can't stand it. And you see where I'm getting at? So in some respect, this post is almost like as if she's copying me again, because this is what I have done in the past. I would make a post, explaining what I may have found out from one of these mediums or whatever when it came to her and what she's been doing to me and to others, because there are other people that apparently she's bothered, from what I understand. And so you see where I'm getting at? It's like, in other words, this is that thing where it's like she's trying to take from all that now. She's trying to turn it into her story. And, Michael, he's, the malice and everything that, that's directed towards me. It's not wanted, yeah, it is. I mean, remember I told, I said that I'm going to be this bitch's karma. Because this is what it is. This is what karma is. I'm exposing her. Apparently she thought she wasn't going to be found out. And nope, I've exposed in recent community posts and the videos I've made, I've exposed what all she did. And she, I guess she thought she wasn't going to be found out, and she is. And you see where I'm going with this. I mean, like I said, it shouldn't be, it should be easy to understand now. But basically, that's what it is. She's doing that thing as usual where she's trying to act like she's all innocent and all this other stuff, that she did not do anything. And I've got the proof because I've archived a lot of the posts that she made back in the day. If you remember the blogger that she tried to mess with, and she tried to start mess on her blog, trying to badmouth me, and I found out about it, that blogger has got it exposed on her blog. She's got numerous posts detailing everything that's happened. So, I mean, like I said, it's out there. You see what I'm getting? Like I said, this idiot thought she wasn't going to get found out, and she did. And you see where I'm getting at? And she don't like it. This all goes back to what I was saying about how she is merely trying to, I guess I call them scare tactics, where she thinks she's going to get to me. And, she thinks I'm going to, shut my channel down again and all that. And see, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen this time. And, like I said, she does this stuff that I think it's an acting out method, where she's acting out because she's mad. She probably is scared. Because, I mean, the one thing I've said before, and I'll say it again, she could be in trouble legally if she continues to try to find ways to steal from my videos. Because, I mean, if she really and truly, if she's going around, if you go back to those community posts I made where I've got the actual proof, where I showed how she was posting online to others, and she's trying to talk about this imaginary connection she has with Michael, and I found out it was basically the same stuff that came from me, from my experience of what I had posted or what was in my videos. And she was passing off as her own. And see, that was only one. There was other instances that she was doing this. If you got somebody that's willing to do that, I would have no doubt that they wouldn't be trying to write this in some way. And then this goes back to what she was trying to do. If you remember in the beginning of it all, when she first started harassing me, remember how I said she kept alluding to about me wanting to write a book and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting there like, I never said that I was going to write a book. But even if I did want to write a book, who the fuck are you to be thinking that you can tell me what I can and can't do? Because that's what she was doing. She would literally say these crazy posts like you are not to write a book, or you aren't going to write. And I'm like, you don't tell me what I can and can't do. Who the hell do you think you are? That's the level of crazy we're talking about here. Okay? And I started suspecting that this could be partly what this was all about, that she was some type of con artist or a grifter or something that was trying to look for something to sell. And she thought that she had something, and then it got all upended. Because good luck trying to write any kind of book, because if that's what this bitch's deal was about from the get-go, if I were to find out about it, it'd be a lawsuit ready to go, because I have all my old videos. I've got all the post archived. I've got so much stuff archived on what all that she did to me to show the proof of the stalking and harassment. And it would also show that she was trying to steal my idea. And that's basically what some of this is starting to sound like. It feels like as if she was looking for some kind of idea or something to, I don't know if she wanted to make money off of it or what, and she thought she found something. And maybe she was getting ready to really do something, and then, of course, it all got upended, especially when the blogger, the mess that this Lulu tried to start on this one person's blog, and then that really upended it. I mean, like I said, there is no telling. There is no telling, but I have always strongly suspected that that's what this all is kind of stemming from, is that she was trying to find something, for monetary gain or whatever, and she thought she had me. And nope, it all got upended. So, I mean, the thing is, this is what this person was doing. They were bringing up about a book, which I never said. And then it's like, here we go, we find out she actually was trying to pass off, you know, things that I stated, you know, from my experience, and she's trying to pass it off as her own. I mean, you know, you put two and two together, I mean, you can kind of see where I'm going with this. I mean, of course, I have every reason to believe, you know. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is why I'm exposing all this, because this is just more record of it all. Okay? And again, when she tries to claim that, you know, the malice is not directed, I don't even really know what, you know, what she goes on about there. I know that she's been trying to spin this yarn, you know, that she's being harassed and all this other stuff in there. I will tell you one thing, I don't have nothing to do with her. I mean, if there are people out there that are bothering her or harassing her, well, there ain't no telling. I don't have anything to do with it, but what I find funny is that knowing what I went through, what this idiot tried to do to me, if she did this to others, yeah, there could be some others that have got some beef with her, and maybe they are calling her out or whatever. I don't know. I mean, if she thinks, you know, if she's trying to do that thing where she thinks I'm harassing her just because I have brought her up in videos and exposed her for her tactics and what she did to me, if she wants to call that harassment or malice or whatever, be my guest. Because I'm just merely exposing what this crazy bitch did to me. You know? But, I mean, as usual, like I said, the post, you can go on, you know, you can kind of tell what the whole gist of it was. She was basically trying to push her imaginary connection, and that apparently only she has this connection and nobody else has any kind of connection with Michael. He doesn't visit with others and so forth, and you can see where I'm going on with this. And again, it just... You know, I mean, some of this it's kind of humorous now in some respect because, I mean, I guess she feels the need to have to tell herself this to make herself feel better because, I mean, the person obviously has some kind of miserable life to be doing this crap and, you know, causing people, you know, problems like she did with me back then. And like I said, there were others that said the same. But, I mean, I mean, I could go on and on, but some of it starts to delve into the same stuff of what I've already talked about when it comes to the bully, you know, video that I made. It doesn't really need to be repeated. The biggest thing about this I am going to state is that, number one, this is to bring awareness to online bullying. There's lots of people, you know, that have no problem saying whatever, you know, behind a keyboard, you know, or their phone, you know, when you're typing on your phone, you know, like I said, you can easily have anybody say anything and they're hiding behind a computer and whatnot. And, you know, like I said, online bullying is not a good thing. And, you know, I think there needs to be more measures or laws about it, especially because, you know, I have brought this up before, you know, you've got, you know, young kids that have, you know, bared the brunt of this stuff, you know, and it led to very bad, you know, consequences at the end, and it just, you know, and I'm just merely speaking out as somebody that, you know, has had to deal with this, you know. The other thing, too, is that, and again, I know that I tend to have a, you know, problem where I can rant at times when I'm going on and on. But the whole point of this video is to continue to expose this so-called bully, you know, for all of the crap that they like to push, the crazy lies that they push, you know, because this, again, I believe that this is one of those things of why I had those recent dreams that I brought up, is Michael really and truly, he stated this. You know, this is going back, and I don't know if I said it, you know, earlier, or if because I know I tend to ramble and I get away, you know, and I can go on about other stuff, but the point of bringing up about these mediums, you know, when they were told by Michael, like, what this Lulu was about, remember, there is no connection whatsoever. This is somebody who is mentally ill, has an obsession, and they wish to be in that kind of situation or whatever, and it just simply isn't there. And all the things that this person has posted, like that crazy crap that I just read, what they posted, that's proof of it right there. Because again, there was all kinds of lies and contradictions, where they said something else that was completely different, otherwise back then, But the thing is, the message was that there is no connection. And Michael does not like this person. He said this person has a bad soul. They are not a good person on the inside or out whatsoever. And they are very malicious. And you can, I've already, like I said earlier, you'll have to go back to that bully video I made to really, because that's where I really go in depth on what this person did to me. You will see if this person was very manipulative. They had a clear agenda of what they were doing. And remember, the message was there was a group behind it. There was more than one person that was helping this Lulu, whoever the fuck they are. Okay? And, I mean, there's a lot of ill intent going on behind. And again, that was the message. I mean, it's just, the dreams I've had recently, Michael was definitely glad that I'm standing up for myself and putting the truth out there. Cause I mean, he does not like what this Lulu has done to me and what this person has done to others. He does not like the lies that have been said, because you gotta remember, this person keeps peddling this bullshit idea that there's a connection between the two of them. And I mean, I'll just say it again, just so that way to understand the craziness of all this. Lulu is posting this crazy bullshit that she and Michael are in this spiritual love connection. She doesn't call it a twin flame, but yes, she might as well, because that's the way it operates from. But Michael is her husband in the spiritual sense. Yes, she said this crazy shit before. That Michael is her husband in the spiritual sense. He's waiting for her in heaven. They have this great love, that apparently transcends beyond, I guess, time and space and everything. And it's a bunch of gobbledygook from a crazy person. She seems to show no care at all to the actual people in this particular, let's just say the latest life that Michael lived. All of his family and friends are still living, and the ones that, they're passed on too, and I'm sure they're with Michael, in heaven having a good time. But you see where I'm getting at? It's like, it's just something that I've got to bring up about the whole twin flame. I have never once said anything about romance, because from what I was explained, or what it was explained to me and what I've gathered from research, twin flames is beyond, it's not this romance. Okay, it's like an unconditional love. There's a lot of things when it comes to past lives and stuff, a lot of different roles involved. I mean, it just, I basically like to call him a soul brother, and that's basically the gist of it. And that's the whole thing about this, is that should be kind of some common sense, is that when you read the crazy crap that this Lulu has posted, that yes, she's not playing with full deck of cards. I mean, my personal saying of this, she's 3 fries short of a Happy Meal. I mean, I cannot stress enough, this is somebody they got something wrong with them in the head. But they aren't a good soul either. There's something, I mean, there is been some bad things. And that's some of the stuff I found out in these, the mediums I've conversed with. This is coming from what Michael exposed to them. Because he's been watching over me. Okay? I mean, he sent the message out that I was spiritually protected. And, first, I didn't really get, why, but now I do. I mean, it's just, this is somebody that, what this all is, it's almost like it's some weird game to them. Because the pattern I noticed was that, remember how I told you I would start up the channel? They would then start doing their crap, and then I would get exasperated, I would take it down. What I've noticed in the recent year is that it seemed like this person would shut up and not really do anything or say anything when I didn't have the channel up. But then if I finally, on a whim, I'm like, I'm going to do this again, I'm going to try to get this out there again, that's when she would come around and start her mess. I take the channel down and she remains mum and shuts up. Kind of stays dormant. And then I start my channel up again. There she comes. She starts coming around. What it is, this pretty much exposes that tactic, that whole thing, that I believe these are, in her mind, she thinks she's trying to scare me off so I can, shut my channel down again. It ain't happening this time. Okay? It's not happening. And, like I said, this is why I'm making these videos. It's to expose. Because like I said, it's just, it's like, in other words, this is why I brought it up, that I think this might be some weird game where she's only doing this because I chose to come around and start my channel back up. And I guess she's doing all this because she's trying to get me, I guess, to get this channel shut down again, and it's not going to happen. And, I'm supposing this stuff is going to continue, and yes, I do usually ignore it, but there's been times when there's been some viewers that they've come across their crazy crap, and then they let me know about it, and then there you go. But it's just, the whole thing is that Michael, he wants it to be stressed, to anybody. I mean, he knows that, a lot of people don't care about any of this kind of stuff. So that basically she doesn't really have the audience that she thinks she does. That's one of the things that I do know has been brought up. And so there you go. It's like there's not really that much of a stress or whatever when it comes to Michael, because, he's beyond all this. I mean, when you're in the spirit form, this is, it's just beyond, but it's still the fact that, yes, he is aware of what she's been doing, and he doesn't like the things that she has said. There was one, I'm not even going to bring it up because it really doesn't need to be repeated, but she really said something really, really bad that I thought was very egregious. And my wish was that somebody, I'll just put it this way, the only thing I will, if I can, because I don't want to give it away, what she said, but I did not see it, but somebody told me, because they saw it. She apparently was making these posts all over YouTube, apparently on videos, I guess, that pertain to Michael. She was basically trying to claim that she knew about something. And, like I said, I'm not going to pertain what it was to. All I know is my wish was that somebody from Tiger Lily, either Tiger Lily, or it could be, and Tiger Lily is Michael's daughter, or Christina, who is, Michael's sister. You got Rhett, Michael's brother. Just anybody from his family, okay? I mean, hell, at this point, I'll even say Bob Geldof at this point, since, he is, Tiger's adoptive dad, or her sisters, somebody from the family. How about that? Either side, whether it's Michael or Paula. My wish is that somebody saw this and they're like, you want to tell me what that's all about before I sue you? Because what she posted, like I said, I'm not going to repeat it, but from what I was told, I mean, you just sit there and you're like, wow, this is the lengths that this idiot is trying to go for attention. It was attention. You could tell that's what it was. And again, I was just sitting there. I was like, damn, wouldn't it be great if somebody from either Michael or Paula's family, Tiger Lily herself, if they saw that and they threatened to sue. Because that's what it was, like I said, the subject matter of the post. It's I'll just put it to you this way. And this is yet another reason as to why I'm exposing this idiot and the things that she say, or says, and this particular kind of post. When it comes to this Lulu trying to claim that, that she and Michael, that they love each other, they're so in love and all this stuff. And basically she's trying to claim that Michael told her about something, that, let's just say it pertained to family. That's all I'm going to say. That should have been kept private. That is something that if I was to ever be told that, I'd keep it private. I'm not going to say a damn thing because it's private. There's already been some things that you have come out about that I don't talk about because it's private. And it was just, for her to sit there and say that she loves Michael so much, and they supposedly have this understanding, it upends it. It exposes the lies and the bullshit that this person, the fact that she thinks people really buy her bullshit. Because this particular, what she was going around posting, if you really cared about, you wouldn't be posting such stuff, is all I'm going to say. Because and like I said, when I found that out, all I was wishing for is, hell, I hope somebody from either Michael or Paul's family sees it and they decide to say something to her about it. Like I said, the keyword here is sue, lawsuit. Because I don't have no problem throwing it out there because, like I said, remember what I said earlier, this bitch, was literally stealing from my videos and was trying to pass it off as her own. And so, again, if they're willing to do that just by words in post, like I said, if she thinks she's going to try to write a book or whatever it is that, that she was, whatever it is she was trying to get at, and the fact that she was, like I said, good luck, because, if I ever find any such of a thing like that, you're going to be in trouble legally by me. Because I have all my proof. I've got all my old videos and everything. So that's what I'm getting at. Again, I rambled and ranted, but the whole point, Michael knows what this bitch has been saying. He does not like it. He just wants that message out that people do not need to be paying any attention to this so-called Lulu. Because, like I said, that's how far it's gone. This one post, I'm not even going to really say what it was she was trying to claim. That is taking it too far, and I'm just, like I said, I can't stress enough at this point. Another thing too that I don't know if I brought this up in the past video when I was talking about the bullying that this woman had done, and we don't even know if she's a woman. That's the thing. She likes to present herself as a woman, but what have I said before? We don't know who this person really is that's behind this account, calling themselves Lulu and Lords and all this other stuff. We don't know. And we know there's a group involved. There's more than one person. That I do know. And then she exposed herself. I'm going to bring that up too. I'm going to bring that up because I knew there was something I was about to forget, and I'm going to bring that up. But something that I wanted to stress that really shows her bullshit. And one of my viewers brought this up to me, and it really was. I was so glad they brought that up because I had already figured that out, but they figured it out too. And you see where I'm getting at when I say that people are not buying her bullshit, like like she thinks they are. She loves to keep posting these made up poems that Michael supposedly channeled to her about their so-called connection. And something that I've noticed she continues to do it, and she did it back then. She would post a poem, and then it might be a day or so later, it's been edited. And then another day or so later, it's been edited again, and it's been edited again and again and again and again. That right there is proof that that is bullshit, because if you got a channeled message from somebody in the spirit, it should be as is. There shouldn't be no editing or adding to going on. And yet there would be sentences edited here, added to, this was changed, that was changed, now we got this whole new stuff, this has been taken out and so forth. And you see where I'm getting at? Channeled message should be as is, not edited and changed and this, that, and the other. So that's another proof of her mess, you know, this kind of bullshit, you know. And the poems are horrible. The ones I read, they like something middle school or high schooler had to come up with when they were doing some writing exercise in, you know, English or literature or whatever, you know, the classes that we had to take in high school, you know. I mean, they're bad. And I kind of think that Michael definitely could have written better, you know, seeing how he was a, you know, very good songwriter. But the other thing that that I wanted to bring up, that I said I was going to bring it up because I almost forgot about it. This was another thing that she also gave herself away in, and I don't remember if this was brought up in the bully video, but it was a viewer, you know, brought this up, and we talked about it. Something that happened a while back was that when I started conversing with the other two mediums, you know, they start telling me that, you know, they're getting the message that there's a group involved in all this. It's not just her. I had made posts about that back in whatever version of the channel that was going on. And you remember I told you how Lulu, whenever I start channel up, she'll make these posts that kind of exposes that she's been watching my videos. She's reading my posts. She's watching everything I'm doing on the channel, basically. And this, like the post right now that she just posted, and all that, it's the same thing. That's what I mean when she says she's, you know, when she's basically doing the same stuff over and over again. She's doing the same old tricks, you know. Well, anyways, what happened was back then when I made the post about how I found out there's a group involved, she made a post on her channel where she's kind of mocking me about that. And she flat out said, there's no group involved. She literally said this. I have it archived. She said in the post, there isn't a group involved. And that was what she said. How do you know? Okay? How does Lulu know that there's no group involved? Remember, Lulu's going around trying to claim that she's, you know, innocent, that it's her that's being harassed and stalked and all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah. And she hasn't done anything to anybody, remember? And now she's trying to claim that there is no group involved. How would you know? See, she just exposed that. Of course, I was laughing as I archived the post. So you see what I'm talking about? This is somebody that clearly, they don't seem to understand when they give themselves away. And I just love to expose it whenever I see things like this. So, you know, just to make the short story of all this is that when I found out that, you know, that there is a group involved in all this, and I made the post, she basically made a post on her channel trying to call, you know, that whole thing out, and she's trying to claim there is no group involved. And I mean, that's just common sense, right? That pretty much exposes that you are involved in all this, that you just gave yourself away, duh. And you see where I'm getting at? So, but I mean, I could go on and on, but I kind of don't want to because this video got long as usual, and I didn't expect it to take this long. But, that, you know, like I said, this one post, I just had to bring it up because, I mean, it just, as I stated, it was full of contradictions and lies, and I had to expose it because, again, it's more proof of where Lulu will say one thing, and then it could be 5 months later, it could be a year later, it could be the next day. She would end up saying something completely different that contradicts what she said earlier. I mean, she's a big old hypocrite. Yeah, that's another, I guess, term or adjective, where you want to call it, to describe her. I mean, it's Like I said, the whole thing, it gets exhausting, but the whole gist of this video, like I said, was that Michael, there were some dreams that happened, in the past, few days, that the message obviously was, to continue standing up for yourself, that he was glad that I'm trying to get this message out. And again, based on all of this mess, it's like, it doesn't affect him in that way, because like I said, as a spirit, you're beyond this, but he just doesn't like lies being said. He wishes, for truth to be out there, and he just does not like what this person started with me, whoever it is that's behind this Lulu's account, whatever their gain is, whatever their beef or agenda that they've got with me, whatever their, because like I said, they've got some kind, I can't even think of the word at the moment, but it's just, that's how exhausted I am talking about the stuff. It's just they have some kind of beef, and they won't leave well enough alone. Whoever it is behind that account. Michael just wants me to, continue getting the message out, to not be buying any of this person's bullshit. And, that's really all, that's all I can do. I mean, it's already hard enough that we do not have, that kind of connection where I could easily, channel him or receive him, whatever it is that these mediums do, because I don't do that. I don't have that ability. But anyway, so yeah, this is, like I said, this was just an update video explaining all this. I think that I had finished with uploading my older videos, because I told you I was going to do that first. And now I can get around to making newer content, and I can start discussing, some of the theories I have, because there are some topics I wanted to bring up, in videos that I never got around to doing back then, and I can finally start doing that. And then, like I said, it's just going to be a matter of whatever I see fit to talk about when it comes to this connection. I'll make a video. And like I said, that the other project I'm thinking about doing, like I said, if it really does come to fruition, I'll definitely give updates and let everybody know about that, because it's something that I am excited about. Because I had been mulling over it for a while, like, do I need to finally do this? And I'm thinking I am. But, it's just, like I said, this person just would, they made yet another crazy post that exposed themselves, and I had to talk about it because you got to remember, part of the reason of this channel is for me to, put my story out there to help others, because there are other people that are going through having these weird experiences, and they don't know how to process it or go about it. And I'm just merely giving my examples of what I've been going through to help people out if they come across this channel, But unfortunately, one side to this whole thing as well is that I am feeling like I need to put it out there because, I have this crazy stalker that tried to steal, my whole experience and everything that I've been through, and they're trying to pass it off as their own. And so this channel is about having proof to show who is really telling the truth and who is the bullshit copycat liar. Because, I remember that was one of the terms that I remember one of those mediums used, copycat energy is what they said. This is somebody that is like a copycat. And that's exactly what's been going on, So some of it has to do with that, unfortunately. It's about me putting, my truth of what I've been going through as proof. So that way, if this person tries to go around again in the future trying to claim this, that, and the other, and it turns out that it's from, my channel, people are going to know, or maybe, let's just say that hopefully or maybe they would know, and then there you go, Because like I said, there's going to be idiots out there. They're going to, probably listen to her, and they don't know anything about me, and they're going to believe her. But I'm sorry, but judging from the stuff that she has posted in the past, I mean, if you believe her, I mean, you got something wrong with you mentally. I'm sorry, because the things that they've posted kind of show that they're not all there. So, but anyways, this, like I said, this video ended up being way longer what it, intended to be. So, anyways, there's going to be more to come, and obviously I hope that you enjoy, and I will get back to y'all later. Bye for now.